Hi everybody and welcome back to Two Lives Up. I've got done watching I Am Not Okay With This on Netflix. It's a special shout out review going out to my very close friend Adrian. He highly recommended I check this show out and I'm really happy I did. It's really fantastic. Very digestible, easy to review at the moment given the current situation, and I've got lots of positive things to say about it. Got a definite vibe on it from things such as Donnie Darko, any sort of Howard Hughes classic 1980s sort of film from back in the day, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off or Pretty in Pink or The Breakfast Club. It is meant to be set in Pennsylvania, America, sort of around sort of our time now, but seems like it's been abducted by a group of elder millennials. Loads of 80s references thrown in throughout the TV show, technology, music, fashion. You see lots of VHSs, for example, you see LPs. You're going to be sort of getting harkened callbacks to lots of 80s TV shows and pop culture stuff that we all love and is very much in vogue right now. I do apologise, I've got some notes here, so I will be reading off a little bit, so sorry about that. But it is also based on a comic book series, and Charles S. Foreman being that writer in particular, who also writes for the show, Jonathan Entwistle, and also Christy Hall, writers for the 7 episodes, and it's brought to us by a production company, 21 Laps, and obviously distributed here on Netflix, and it is really great. And some returning familiar faces as well. Sophia Lillis and Wyatt Olef, who you might remember as two of the kids that we saw in the It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 in fact, which came out just last year. So they're reprising their roles in a sort of almost like an alternate dimension way. So they're playing sort of similar characters to what they played on from that film. Lily and I believe it was Charlie, one of the kids that got taken out fairly early on. Sorry, no spoilers. Sorry. So getting away from that, but yeah, they're fantastic. I mean, they come across as very believable to adolescents. I mean, I don't know how it is for a lot of you out there, but I personally did not enjoy secondary school / high school. So there's a lot of sort of angst in here and talking about repression and anger and sort of that feeling of awkwardness as you're going through puberty. And what would be worse than going through puberty than having powers? So there's hints of that very early on. We get given a fantastic image of Sid's character, our main protagonist, the young girl played by Sophie, as she's walking down the street looking very sort of Carrie-esque from that horror film, as she's sort of drenched in what appears to be blood, and she's wearing a dog tags around her neck and walking down the street, and we don't kind of know, so we've kind of thrown up that suggestion or that idea very early on that something horrible has happened to her, and we're sort of recapping back those moments through the guise of her diary. And the guidance counsellor that she sees very early on, the first episode, encourages her to keep ongoing sort of ideas and thoughts down about what she's feeling and kind of going through as she's having a very hard time at the high school she's moved to with her family. And that guidance counsellor, in fact, played fantastic by Kathleen Rose Perkins, who is described by Sid's character as a sort of pot-smoking hippie in the episode, which I thought was very amusing. It was very funny. But there's loads of awesome trappings throughout the episodes. I mean, they're really good to watch as well because they're not too long. They're coming out around sort of 20, 24 minutes each. And there's this ongoing sort of question of, is it all in Sid's head, who we're following throughout the story, or are these things actually happening? I'm not obviously going to give anything away here. Sorry, I don't do any sort of spoilers in that way, but I would say definitely keep watching it. It's a bit of a rabbit hole sort of puzzle box for you to sort of unlock as you sort of go through a lot of the show, and you're going to be seeing lots of evidence that she may in fact have these supposed powers of telekinesis that you might have seen from the trailers that have been going around. Stick with it, definitely. I mean, it's not going to be for everybody. Obviously, lots of high school type drama things are very much in vogue right now, especially if they're set in sort of 1970s or the 80s, or even the 90s now, as we're beginning to realise that nostalgia sort of bubble is sort of expanding and growing all the time, ever more. and Netflix is the perfect home for that, obviously right now, amongst other streaming platforms and video games and all sorts of music in the media and things. Obviously, as we recognise that as an older generation now, we in fact are sort of getting along and sort of looking back now at these nostalgic sort of things. But stay with it. It will put you in sort of cringy, sort of awkward places. If you, like I said, if you're not someone that enjoyed going through school at a young age, it will sort of draw those things back. But take comfort in knowing that it's an incredibly funny show. It's very well written, and as you go through it, more sort of drama and mystery is thrown up. And I love the interaction between Sid and her family, and that sort of there's something very horrible has happened basically to her in her life very, very early on. And I don't want to give too, like I said, probably it's a mild spoiler I could say, but I'm not going to actually in this video. But something horrible has happened to her and her family, causing them to move to Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure some of you might have seen from the trailer, or you might have guessed already what that could be, as for them reasoning for them moving there. But part of the story is obviously her trying to figure out what has happened and how it came about to be. And obviously reflecting back on that opening fantastic image of her looking, like I said, very Carrie-esque, drenched in blood as she's walking down the street. So you know, towards the tail end of the series, as it unravels, something phenomenal is going to come about from this. And you know that she's going to have to encounter lots of very awkward sort of situations, but at the same time come to understand what is potentially growing inside of her, what is happening to her and those people around her that she holds so dear. And obviously, as it does as well, very fantastically, it copes with a lot of the drama that we all go through growing up, of kind of not fitting in and sort of being alienated or feeling as though you just don't fit in with anything at all. And it's done so well here, because it's not just done for laughs, but it's genuinely very heartwarming and very touching. And I feel like the writers have just hit this with the ground running. I hope, obviously, to see more of this. We get a second season, I imagine. There is obviously, like I said, by Charles Forsham, a comic book out there as well, which I never knew about. It kind of has that kind of ghost world or kind of Daria sort of real sort of sensibility to it. So it does feel very legitimately like our world, but it just happens to be inhabited by the hyper reality again of having powers, which again, like with the X-Men, is a metaphor for something that's going on or changes that are happening in our lives and how we're going to reflect or move forward or cope with these things. I highly recommend it. Check it out. It's on Netflix right now. It's just 7 episodes. You will definitely, at least if nothing else, it will bring a smile to your face and it will make you laugh. I promise you this. And the twists and the shock ending for the sort of episode 7, see, I've already said too much, is going to definitely leave you wanting to see more. Please do check it out. I Am Not Okay With This on Netflix, available now to stream all 7 episodes. And a huge thank you to Adrian for recommending this. I cannot say enough good things about it. I look forward to talking to you guys more about the potential for some of the spoilery things in the future and what could be happening in season 2. If those of you have seen it already, I know there probably will be a lot of you, because it did come out quite a number of weeks ago now, in fact. So please sort of leave comments, but nothing too kind of revealing, but talk about your thoughts and feelings about it. Did you like it? Share your thoughts and opinions, like I said, as always. Let me know if it's something that you want to keep watching, or would you recommend it to others? And as always, thank you so much for tuning to the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it. And most importantly, please do stay safe, in these times right now of uncertainty. I hope you're all doing okay and you're being safe and you're able to keep in contact with the people closest to you now at this time. Thank you all so much for watching and hope to see you all soon. Thank you. Bye for now.